you're gonna need for this special dinner today. You're gonna need a piece of salmon. Now I'm doing 2 pieces just because I do plan on having some for tomorrow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these in half. So I'm gonna end up with 4 pieces. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in some water and just rinse it off, and I'm gonna rinse it twice. So after you've seasoned your salmon, you want to go ahead and season it. I'm using salt, some paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and Badia complete seasoning. Now, a lot of people don't like salt, or a lot of people prefer their food to be much more on the fresh side. Now, I'm from the Caribbean. I love a lot of flavor, so I didn't go ham on the salt, but I did use just enough to suit my taste buds. So yeah, you go ahead and use your seasoning based on what you prefer. Now keep in mind I'm using 4 pieces of salmon, so if you're only using 2 pieces, you want to cut those seasoning in half. You're gonna go ahead and marinate this for about 10 minutes. So just you want to go ahead and massage this seasoning onto the fish and just set it aside. So for the potatoes, we're gonna go ahead and wash these. I'm doing 2 pounds of potatoes. After I've washed them and I dried them with a towel cloth, you're gonna go ahead and cut them in 8 pieces. So you want like 8 small pieces of wedge. And when we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and add some seasoning to it and add olive oil, and we're gonna mix those together. While you're doing this, you want to make sure that your oven is preheating at 425 degrees. Now when it comes to seasoning for my rosette potatoes, I prefer that garlic taste, so I just add extra garlic. Now I'm gonna add some onion powder, a little bit of salt. Now this is to taste, so if you want your potatoes to taste much more saltier or less salty, just add more or less. I'm gonna go ahead with some black pepper, and what you see me using here is some habanero pepper just for spiciness. And now I'm using this Keith Lorren seasoning. This is the rotisserie chicken seasoning. I really love that, so I'm just gonna add that to the potatoes, and now we're gonna go ahead with the olive oil and mix everything together. So what you see me doing here is I'm adding this sweet chili sauce, and this is the mayploy. I really love the taste of this. It has sweetness, it has a little bit of salt, and it does have some chili in there, so it has a little bit of heat. Now what you want to do is you want to pour a half a bottle in there, and if you're only doing 2 pieces of salmon, you're just gonna add less. So next you're gonna see me adding some brown sugar, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So if you're only doing half, you're gonna half the ingredients, and if you're doing more salmon, you're gonna double the ingredients. Next I'm gonna add some black pepper, and I'm going to add some raw coconut vinegar. This is just for the tartness because of the sugar. You don't want it to be too sweet, so I add this tart vinegar in there, and it just really makes the food have a delicious, nice, sweet and tarty taste. So next we're just gonna go ahead and add some barbecue sauce, and this is for thickness and for color and for that kick. So when we're done, we're just gonna go ahead and mix everything together and set it aside while we go ahead and heat up the skillet and prepare it for the salmon. Now you're gonna put some olive oil in the skillet, and you wanna put it just so that it's covering the bottom of the skillet. Now I'm using a cast iron skillet. If you don't have one, please make sure you use a non-stick skillet. You don't want your salmon to be sticking. Right, now I'm gonna put my stove on high. I want this to be really hot, so when I put the salmon in, the skin will be very crispy. So after about 2 minutes, leaving the skillet to get really hot, you're going to go ahead and add your 4 pieces of salmon. Now you're going to let it cook on each side for 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes, you're going to turn it over and flip it to the other side. Guys, don't be like me and try to flip it over with a tongs. You want to make sure you use a spatula, because that's how you see the skin kind of tore a little bit off that piece of salmon. So you want to make sure you use a spatula just to get it even and nice, instead of getting that flipped over skin. So next, we're just going to go ahead and turn it back over onto the skin side, and we're going to go ahead and add our glaze. And after you add your glaze, you want to make sure that the heat goes on medium low. And we're just going to go ahead and baste these salmon with that glaze. And you want to make sure that all of the fish is covered with your sweet and spicy sauce. You guys, you can always go ahead and add more seasoning if you choose. I just use those little bit of seasoning just to make sure that everyone who is watching that don't have access to Caribbean spices like I do will be able to achieve the same great taste. So if you have extra spices that you want to use, you can feel free to go ahead and do so. So after 40 minutes, you want to take out your rosette potatoes. Now, whatever brown spot you do see here, that is not from the potato burning. That is from the seasoning, from the rotisserie seasoning that I had applied earlier. And it gives it that nice dark brown color. It is not burnt. That's just seasoning you're seeing there. So right before I turn off the stove on the salmon, you want to take your gravy that's in the pot and you want to rub it right over the salmon just to make sure that everything is coated. And we're just going to turn off the stove now. So for our side dish, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of sauteing. We're going to saute some vegetables. And so you're going to get a saucepan and you're going to add some olive oil to the bottom of the pan and let it heat up for about a minute or so. And you're going to add your vegetables. So for my vegetables today, I'm using frozen vegetables, and this is Northwest vegetable blend, and you can use whatever vegetable you decide to use. You can use fresh vegetables if you want to. I just use this one because it is quick, and not a lot of people have time to go and cut up vegetables or to purchase fresh vegetables, so that's what I'm using here. You're just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm going to add a little bit of the rotisserie seasoning in a minute. After adding your seasoning, you're going to go ahead and cover back your skillet, and you're going to let it cook for 7 minutes. And after that 7 minutes is up, your vegetables should be tender enough. So if you like yours a little bit more soft, you can leave it for another minute or so. But if you like yours not too soft, you can go ahead and cut down the minutes. So that's the end of this video, you guys. All you're gonna do is plate your food and add your drinks, whatever you want to drink, and that's it. Quick, easy, and simple. If you guys do decide to try out this recipe, please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Go ahead and enjoy your meals, you guys. Be safe, and I'll catch you in my next one. Today's his birthday, so he thinks that this meal is for him, but nope, psyched.